Well, good morning and welcome to Tuesday. It is the 7th of December today. Um, we continue with temptation today. The chapter on temptation for Matthew 6:13. And lead us not into temptation. Lead us not into temptation. We hear from Thomas à Kempis today, a couple centuries older than us. Thomas à Kempis. Many people try to escape temptations only to fall more deeply. We cannot conquer simply by fleeing, but by patience and true humility we become stronger than all our enemies. The man who only shuns temptations outwardly and does not uproot them will make little progress. Indeed, they will quickly return more violent than before. Little by little, impatience and long suffering, you will overcome them by the help of God rather than by severity and your own rash ways. Often take counsel when tempted, and do not be harsh with others who are tempted, but console them as you yourself would wish to be consoled. The beginning of all temptation lies in a wavering mind and little trust in God. For as a rudderless ship is driven hither and yon by waves, so a careless and irresolute man is tempted in many ways. Fire tempers iron, and temptation steals the just. Often we do not know what we can stand, but temptation shows us what we are. Above all, we must be especially alert against the beginnings of temptation. For the enemy is more easily conquered if he is refused admittance to the mind and is met beyond the threshold when he knocks. Someone has said very aptly, resist the beginnings, remedies come too late, when by long delay the evil has gained strength. Unquote. First, a mere thought comes to mind, and then strong imagination, followed by pleasure, evil delight, and consent. Thus, because he is not resisted in the beginning, Satan gains full entry. And the longer a man delays in resisting, so much the weaker does he become each day, while the strength of the enemy grows against him. Some suffer great temptations in the beginning of their conversion, others toward the end, while some are troubled almost constantly throughout their life. Others, again, are tempted but lightly according to the wisdom and justice of divine providence, who weighs the status and merit of each and prepares all for the salvation of his elect. We should not despair, therefore, when we are tempted, but pray to God the more fervently that he may see fit to help us. For according to the word of Paul, God will make issue with temptation, that we may be able to bear it. Let us humble our souls under the hand of God in every trial and temptation, for he will save and exalt the humble in spirit. Very much in agreement with Charles Spurgeon's words we considered yesterday, that we're helpless. And we dare make no bones about that we're not strong enough to fight the devil. Adam and Eve lived in sinless perfection in the garden, and yet they could not withstand the temptations of the devil. How much more we so who have inherited that fallen nature. And so we must yield ourselves. We must humble ourselves before God our Father and say, help us. Help us. Help me to fight this thought. Help me to fight this habit. Take it away from me, even better yet, Thomas à Kempis would say. Don't allow it to stay there with roots any longer. Like a weed, you pull up the top, but the roots are still there, and it will return. It will return. It must be plucked up from the roots. And that's why we go to prayer and why we go to the Word and why we look for brothers and sisters in Christ who will support us and encourage us. And if we allow them, hold us accountable. Temptation. I think I've probably shared this with you before, but Martin Luther is reported to have said this: you can't keep likening temptations to birds flying overhead. You cannot keep the birds from flying overhead, but you can keep them from making a nest in your hair. Good thought. Blessings to you today, and resist temptation. Don't even entertain it in your thinking. And I will try to do the same. Blessings.